Today it's just me, Arif, and I'm joined with Callum today.
Yes, how you doing, people? How you doing? I, I got a lot. I got a lot to say today. You know those ones where just everything just annoys you. So you see, like you might have seen in a few of those videos, like people are walking through the door and then the handle gets stuck on like a belt loop and it just pushes you over the edge. That kind of shit's been happening to me all week. So I went to the gym, first time in a couple months. I do legs. Obviously, the next day I can't walk in it. So everything's just painful. Gravity in general is painful. And then, I'm just trying to just do normal shit. Like I come home after work, putting the key in the door, take my key out of the pocket, and it falls on the floor. And I just stare at my keys on the floor, and it gets me so mad because I know it's gonna hurt when I have to go to pick it up. I go through the door, take my shoes off, all of that stuff. And then some other shit just wants to fall on the floor. And then by this point, I just leave it there because I've actually had enough. Like, if I have to pick it up, I'm going to throw it out the window. And then it's just going to be even more counterproductive. So it's just getting a bit too much right now. I'm going to put it down to just this year just being a terrible year. Okay. Everything's just been absolute nonsense from the get go. And
Mm.
we had the whole lockdown, all of that stuff. Like it was a nice little break, but I think it did actually have some sort of level of negative effect.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know to what extent, because obviously it must have affected each person differently. But there's just stuff like that. I just I just don't give a shit about what people are even saying to me half the time. Like most of my responses are just automatic replies because if I actually listen to what they say, it's just gonna piss me off. It's just gonna be like the whole dropping the keys thing again, but in conversation form. Don't know what's going on.
Are you having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month?
But that's the thing. I can't even complain about too much. Like, if we're really weighing it up, it's been mostly on the good side. It's just the bad things have been really annoying. Like, even fucking stepped out of the shower and I hit my toe off the corner and it got me so angry. It still hurts. Yeah, that happened 2 days ago. Yeah, that happened 2 days ago. That same day, after me exiting the shower, I almost slipped and flipping face planted into the wall. And I'm just like, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't hit my toe in the first place. It's just a whole chain of stuff that just link and it just keeps making it worse.
It's sounding a lot like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of
That is
story.
it. I don't know who evil eyed me, yeah, but suck your mum. Because it's not even a bad evil eye. It's just them low little annoying ones that it just keeps interrupting the flow of your day. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. The
I,
universe is out to
I'm not
get
I'm
me.
not a therapist or anything, but it's just sounding like you're all these things are happening, but you're reacting more towards it because you were already feeling negative before that happened.
Mm, I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it, but on the opposite side of the scale, you can tell yourself, "Oh, it's not that deep, whatever," and then something else will happen that will inconvenience you. And there's only so many times you can tell yourself it's not that deep before it just starts to make you angry. And then I don't know, you just gotta react to it. I don't know. I don't know what people do when they're mad. Me personally, I just don't really do anything. I just kind of get over it in about 20, 30 minutes. But would you say that's healthy? Just letting it blow over, or would you say, I don't
No,
know, what
definitely not.
like some people, I don't know, shouting to their pillow. Certain man here punching holes in their wall. Obviously, we all heard about a couple of them. We call them, what do they call, Kyles? Yeah, we call them Kyles. People punching holes in their wall, certain man punching other things which aren't inanimate objects, but that's a different story. Their man over there. But I guess we all deal with it different ways, but I don't think there is really a healthy way to deal with small inconveniences like that, because there's only so much you can laugh about.
I mean, I guess it just depends on your outlook of life. Like, I'll tell
That's
you one thing, yeah. If
mm,
if anyone else was in my position,
yeah,
basically, I've lost my AirPods and it's been about a good month or two.
yeah,
If anyone else was in my position, they would be going mental right now.
yeah.
Sometimes I forget that I even had AirPods to begin with. Like, it really doesn't bother me.
But
It
it should.
should, it should, but it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't let it get to me. Like, I don't even think about it.
So the money factor of it aside, it doesn't annoy you seeing you have one thing that comes in a pair and you can't find the other thing.
No, no, it's not the one part missing. It's the whole thing, the case and the
Oh
AirPods.
my goodness.
The AirPods
So
were in the case.
so you have one AirPod in a missing case that's just somewhere in the house, but you
No, no, no,
haven't.
both AirPods were in though both ear bits were in the case. So I've
Okay.
lost the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, see that's a whole different thing. Do you think you lost it in the house and there's hope, or
Oh,
you
definitely,
lost
because
it?
I used my Find My iPhone app and it said it was in the house. The last time I used it was in the house.
So so you're just lazy. That's what you're telling me.
No, no, honestly, I've looked absolutely everywhere. And my family's looked everywhere as well, and just can't find it.
But
It's
that
bizarre.
clearly you haven't looked everywhere then, because
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but I think it will come out one day. I mean, I don't think about it. Like, if you were in my position, what would you be thinking?
oh, trust me, if I was in your position, I would turn the entire house upside down looking for it because I wouldn't be able to go about my normal day until I find it. I'm just that kind of person. Like one time, this must have been that's way years ago. I don't even remember how old I was, but my memory stick here had all my little MP3s and whatever on it. And then by that point in time, I hadn't used it in like 2, 3 years. But one day it just popped into my head like, where's my memory stick? And then I checked in all the places and it wasn't there. By the end of the search, literally, mattress was on the floor, the drawers were empty, everything was everywhere. Couldn't find it. Till this day, I don't even know what happened to it, and it still kind of annoys me. But you know, I just let it go eventually because it's just one of those things that it was really important at the time. And
See,
then
when you get attached to material things like this, it's just not healthy, man. Things like that are replaceable.
it's not so much; it's what was on it. So you can always buy more AirPods, but you shouldn't have to because you know it's around somewhere. And the annoying part is you've gone through all this effort and the results have come up with nothing. So you just feel like I literally trashed this whole room, whole house. Now I have to clean it up and I didn't even get anything from it. It's
Hmm.
just
Yeah, but are you gonna continue with your life and just let it get you down? That one inconvenience is gonna get you down for
no,
that long.
I'd say I'd whatever the inconvenience is, I'd probably give it one more good shot at trying to, you know, get it back together. But after that point, I'd probably just say, nah, forget it. So I guess you can kind of link that to all the little inconveniences that I was talking about earlier. So from an outside perspective, you would say, "Ah, why don't you apply this logic to your own life?" But you can't really think like that all the time. Sometimes you just think what you think, not it's not always logical, but you
Yeah, I
just
think
do
in the
what you
moment,
feel. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's pretty much just what I've been thinking about. So all these little things that have just been annoying me, that led me to think, oh, like what else really just annoys me for no reason, yeah? And this is what links me on to my next thing. and it's star signs. Okay, it's star signs. You see, these star sign people are actually tapped
Ooh.
because I had to take off my glasses for this one. I'm not even
This is a
looking at anything.
slippery slope.
This is how you know it's going to be serious. Okay, you're telling me, like, it's not about the environmental factors. It's not about who you know, who you've been brought up with, who you chill with, what you've learned. You're telling me because the star floating around in space is lined up with a planet, yeah, that makes you how you are. How the hell does that make any sense? How are you gonna say, "Oh, sorry, yeah, I smashed your car window because Mercury was in a retrograde." Shut the fuck up, man. What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? Just accept you're tapped, yeah, and then work on it from there. You can't move on if you keep blaming everything on other things. It doesn't make sense.
You know what? To this day, I don't understand what that actually means.
Neither do
Mm.
I. Have Googled it. It still doesn't make sense. And now this is where they jump in and say, "Oh, it doesn't make sense because you don't want it to make sense. You're being ignorant. This, that." And I'm just thinking, no, it's not by force. I have to see where you're coming from. It doesn't mean where you're coming from is correct. Like, you can still be wrong, but you have more retards that think you're right. Actually, wait, I can't even say that. More idiots that think you're right, yeah, and you're all in the same group. And because there's five of you who think you're right and one of me, I must be the wrong one. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. If you're all fueling each other's fire, you're all obviously going to see it from the same way. And just because I don't, I'm the crazy one. Doesn't make sense.
So you don't believe, not saying that I do, just for the benefit, or basically just to play devil's advocate, you
Mm.
don't believe in star signs and astrology and all of that.
No, don't get me wrong. I've even looked at my own horoscope just for fun sometimes. And I just read it thinking, this is a quite a generic thing that I could apply to almost anyone. So if you just take whatever words are there, like, you can take out whatever star sign you are, time you was born, all of that nonsense, yeah. You take that paragraph, I could write it down on a piece of paper, hand it to you, say next week Tuesday. I tell you, read this. I guarantee you'll find like three things and say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that's true, how did they know?" And it's just standard things. That's like me saying, "Yeah, in the next month it's probably gonna rain." And then when it rains, you're like, "Oh my gosh, how did he know that? Oh my gosh, he's a magician." No, it's just it's just common things.
Well, I think with when it comes to weather, I think
Mm,
there's forecasts. Obviously, there are people, scientists that would
yeah, yeah, yeah.
basically look at the trajectory of like clouds and stuff. But yeah,
Mm.
apart from that, so you don't believe in astrology.
I said the weather's trajectory of clouds.
Well, yeah, that's how it appears on news channels. They show you the map in the background.
Man, that's
But
just little wind and we're going off track.
yeah,
We're not
anyway.
weathermen. We're not weathermen. Carry
Yeah.
on.
So back to what I was saying is you don't believe in star signs and astrology because you're basically saying it's not something that can be factually proven to be correct.
Yes, that is correct.
Do you believe in God?
Oh, I knew you was gonna come here. I knew you was gonna come here. We can't just jump from star signs to God. Okay, it doesn't work.
No, 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 no.
Okay,
I'm not
it doesn't
saying,
work.
okay, look, why doesn't it work? They could say the exact same to you. Why doesn't it work?
S- how do I put this in a podcast friendly way that won't get either of us cancelled?
Just think about what
Yes,
you're gonna
I,
say.
I do believe in God. Okay. Now, I wasn't there back in the beginning times to see everything that unfolded. Okay. As currently, up till now, we're all just taking whoever's was before us words on whatever happened. So that's pretty much religion. Like, none of us was there, but some people were there, and that's what we're going off right now. Star signs, people are making up new things all the time. Like, I can't remember how recent it was, maybe within the last month. Did they not change the actual star signs so everyone's star signs means different things? So
Well,
you
the
can have
misconception,
people.
the
Wait,
misconception. Go on,
wait.
go on.
So you can have people that can misinterpret a religion and then spin their own branch off of it. Okay, that's one thing. The main point with them is that they all started on the same thing, and then they just ran with their own ideas. So with star signs, there's just people just throwing in their own ideas into the mix and then screaming it's facts automatically. Doesn't Where's the logic behind it?
Well, in my opinion, I
Mm.
think both things are cut from the same cloth. Now, hear me
What?
out. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on
Uh,
this.
okay.
So, back in the days, obviously, you're saying religion must have all branched from the same concept. Whether it had variations, it just meant that it was different versions of the same thing, basically.
More the fact that, as a whole, generally, most people agree that there's a God. What happened with God and who he affected, there's just different religions, isn't it? Different things happen. But the general consensus is there's a God.
Obviously, we won't go too deep into this because, I
Yeah.
mean, this is a very good topic for
Yeah.
another episode. But
Mm,
just on the topic of comparing not believing in star signs to believing in God,
okay.
both things are not something that you can factually prove. Both things are very old as well. Astrology has always been a thing. There have always been people that have been observing the moon and all of that, observing the stars in the sky,
Mm,
patterns and all of that rubbish.
yeah.
So that is just as old as religion itself. And
But
also, another thing I want to point out is people love to when they can't fathom something, they love to say that the reason for it is due to a supernatural thing. So you can't explain why A turned into B. So you've got to now say it must be a higher power that's caused this. The same can be applied to people that believe in star signs. This happened because I was born on the third month of this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
it's two sides of the same coin.
not really, because there are some things that you can't even prove with science. Okay, so look how
Yet,
much we know now. You can't even say it. There's some things that we just might not ever know. Like, we just might not advance that far.
how do you know
So,
that?
well, I don't know that, but I just don't think we would. There's just some things that don't have an answer. Not everything
Can
has an answer.
can you see radio waves and microwaves in the air? You can't. You can't
No,
see radiation, right? If it
well,
weren't for scientific
not by
technology,
eye.
yeah, of course, that's what I mean. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell without scientific technology. Due to obviously the innovations, we can now understand that that exists.
You didn't need to ever see radiation to know it exists.
Well, if you were in an area where there's a lot of bad radiation, for example, Chernobyl, for example, if you were in an area like that and then loads
Mm,
of people were getting cancer and getting sick and dying, and you didn't
yeah.
have any knowledge of it, you'd think, oh, mate, this place, there's a bad omen about this place. I don't know what it is, but
No, because you would know that for you to build a nuclear reactor, you clearly know about nuclear materials, so you know what's there. So I don't know, maybe I'm nitpicking the example a bit, but by that point, you know what's causing the danger. You don't need to see it to know that it's killing
okay.
people. You know what I mean?
What about UV rays from the sun?
UV rays,
causes skin cancer?
Um, fake fake tanning beds. People who use them excessively tend to have a higher chance of getting skin cancer, and most of it, most of the studies shown against that, like, proves that right. If you use sunbeds a lot, you're more than likely to get skin cancer. So
I
that's
think
another thing.
the main point I was trying to make is that obviously science can't answer everything straight away. It takes time.
But you can't say science will answer everything. Like, if you can make a computer that just gets smarter all the time, it's there's theories around that. Eventually, you'll get to a point where there's just no more advancing ahead of it. So everything that is
I think that's
currently
impossible.
existing. See, but then how can you say science can prove everything and then still use the term impossible? Because impossible means
I
it
think
can never
science
happen,
can
and then
I think science can progress. It's ever evolving. If it turns out 10 million years in the future, if we're still all here and Earth is still all here, if it turns out that we found out there's a reason for something and that's caused all our equations and everything to have to change, we can go back and rectify that. Whereas when you're looking at religion and stuff, everyone has to go abide by the same rules, the same belief. When you look at horoscopes and stuff, everyone is categorizing themselves into these same subcategories.
well, no, because you can't think of religion as rules as such that, yeah, if you break this one, you're finished, kind of thing. You
It
should
kind of
always,
is.
it's more guidelines to live your life. So you can choose to follow it, yeah, or you could choose not to. You can choose not to, and you might have the exact same life as someone that does. But the person that
But
follows
you'll
it,
get punished for it.
if you're wrong,
Yeah, so there are rules then. In order for you to not get punished, there are rules. Obviously, it's your choice whether you abide by them or not, but
mm,
they are. You can't deny that they are rules.
I wouldn't call it a rule because it's not. It's as a person morally, you should be doing half of those things anyway. Okay, so you shouldn't just want to step out in the street and think, yeah, I'm gonna kill that person, because that's not something a normal person would think. You know what I mean? So it's more, if you're in a, let's say if you're in some kind of dark place here. Now, a person who doesn't believe in God and is in a dark place, they can speak to therapists, all of that stuff, yeah. And then they might not still find whatever they're looking for. But then someone who finds God, they might find everything they're looking for. It doesn't even have to be rational. They could just find something and believe in it, and their life changes for the better. Whereas the person who doesn't believe in God, yeah, go to therapists, whatever, whatever, they start to get back up on their feet. And then when something really good happens, what would you tell yourself? Like, I know this has gone so far off of me stubbing my toe and almost, dying in the shower. But
Yeah.
you know, what does that person think? Who do they have to thank?
Do you have to thank someone?
No, but don't you feel like you should?
Give me a good example of something happening where you will come off from it and be like, thank the Lord for this. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have this.
Car crash?
So
So
someone else's fault.
this is saying the seatbelts have failed. Yeah, someone else's fault. If if you took a fraction of a second more to turn the steering wheel, you would have died. Think of it like that.
So due to a possibility and it being in your favor, you're thanking a supernatural being.
But if you believe in God, you don't think, oh yeah, it's just some magic power that saved me. Like, it's what you believe, so it's a normal way of thinking.
I think it's coincidence. I think there's always a possibility for something to could have gone this way, could have gone that way. You know, I mean, if you do end up dying,
Mm.
does the other person that's killed you then say, "Thank God, I didn't die, he did"?
They probably do. I'm pretty sure. Is that not what survivor's guilt is? So when they live, but literally everyone else dies, and then they're left questioning, should I be happy that I survived and they didn't?
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of, moral place, moral ground does that place your higher power that you're supposedly thanking?
You would think I'm supposed to be here for a reason. Well, that's what I think anyway.
So you would think personally that you for some reason because you're lucky enough to be alive, you have a mission on this earth.
Of some sort, yeah.
But this mission will never be revealed to you from the higher power himself. You just have to figure it out.
I feel like you should already if you do you know when people say, "Oh yeah, give me a sign for whatever," you surviving that would be your sign to do whatever you're not doing. Now,
What if it was
obviously,
just walking down the street, just driving your car? You're following the laws, you're being safe, but
mm,
still someone's come around and due to someone else's fault, you're now being punished for it.
so what if someone else killed you while you're just casually walking down the street?
Yeah, or so say it was a car crash, but it wasn't your fault. There was absolutely no like there was nothing you could have done to prevent what would have happened.
Wait, who died here?
So you're dead.
Okay, man. If it's my time, it's my time, innit? What can I do? If you can't stay in, you think staying in your house forever is safer than going outside. You can still die in your house. If it's your time, it's your time. You can't really do anything about it. If if you get into an accident and you flatline and they bring you back, it went your time. That's how I just think of it.
So you just have to be content with not supposedly being given a mission on this earth.
You should be happy knowing that if you died, you wasn't living a bad life. So like, if I died right now, like I really hope I don't, but if I did, I'd say everything I've done up till now is pretty good. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that I still need to do and I want to do, but if I didn't get to do it, and I compared what I've done up until now against some people who's, like 70, 80, whatever, I'd say I've done pretty well.
So you're your own judge.
Aren't we all, Arif? Aren't we all?
But if you believe in a higher power, wouldn't that being be the judge, the decider?
In the grand scheme of things, yeah, but God gave you free will, didn't he? So
So
technically
you're so
you
you're
you are
happy.
your own judge in your own life.
So you're happy with how you've lived your life. Say for
Yep.
example you're a serial killer and
Mm,
you're happy with how you lived your life because you've enjoyed doing everything that you've done, as morally bad as it is,
mm.
in your eyes it's justified because you enjoyed it.
Man, if that's the way you think, that's the way you think. That's free will, isn't it? Not everyone's gonna agree. You don't have to agree. It's not always gonna be good. It just is what it is.
I think we have gone off on a very
It's a
well,
big tangent, but I'd say we've covered a lot of good things here. We've covered a
yeah,
lot.
I think it's a never-ending question. It's always going to have a back and forth.
I think,
It would be very interesting to revisit this topic with the others as well,
yeah,
see
yeah,
what
of
they would
course.
say.
I think,
But going back to what you were originally talking about, it did sound like you were frustrated.
oh yeah, this is this is a. I know there's people out here that can relate to this. So everyone will have one of those days at some point, and you know, even if your day could be a lot worse than mine, could be a lot better. But the fact of the matter is, it has or it will happen to you at some point, and it's always just nice knowing that it's not just you going through the same kind of nonsense. Like no matter how small or big it is, there's usually always someone else. So that usually makes you feel slightly better in a weird kind of twisted kind of way, laughing at someone else. But the moral of the story is for me, yeah, don't stub your toe, and then it won't set off a butterfly effect that will cause all this other stuff. So yeah, just watch where you're walking. Really, that's pretty much what I have to say.
Just to piss you off right now, I'm just gonna say, so you think stubbing your toe
No, that's not
supernaturally
what I think.
causes a
You know
butterfly
what?
effect? You're
Butterfly
sounding a
effects
lot like the
exist.
star sign believers.
Butterfly effects exist, but I'm not gonna put on my tinfoil hat for this conversation because I'm gonna save that one because that's a whole different thing. But I'd say
Oh,
everything that you do has a knock-on effect in some way. But I have plenty to say to that, but not today. We'll save that for the next episode.
yeah, I think with what we spoke about in this episode, we'll call it a day there, and hopefully we can revisit this again. It was really good.
100%.
Well then, safe, Callum.
Yes, yes. Take care. Take care.